no grease present at all. It's just dried up chalky stuff that hasn't seen grease since 1960. Somebody may have been in this one and re-greased it. It's old grease, so we're going to clean it out and we're going to put new grease in. So when you get this cone off, bear with me. The first thing you do before you go any further is set that down in the bucket. Wipe this cone off and see, is it something we can even service? That cone is acceptable. You can see the bearing wear mark right in the middle there, and no big pits or brittling. Like I like to call it brittling. It's when bearings get pressed really hard and hammered against the race, like you went off a jump or something. There's very minimal brittling in this. It's a smooth, clean surface. So that means we're going to continue, because that cone is good. Okay. So next, we're going to let that just fall down in there. There we go. And we're going to look at this outside cone. Is this wheel even worth repacking? Nice even wear. The bearings were right in the middle there. Slight brittling on this one. Just a slight brittling. See if you can pick that up or not. Not bad. I can't feel any pits. You can see a slight pitting on the outside edge there. That's not too bad. We're going to go for this. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to set that to the side. And we're going to pop out these race dust caps. Let's see. Yeah, you can see. Little dust caps here. Gentle. There we go. We'll clean those up. Look at that hard grease on there. This is what I'm talking about. You think the hub is good, but that stuff, that's like a rock. That ain't doing grease things anymore, folks. That's not doing bike grease things. That's just sitting there with dirt. Okay, so this hub is a loose pack hub. It's not great. It's for less rolling resistance, but it's a loose pack. You pack them in, and there's one bearing distance in between. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you got to take that out. The cage is not there. So take those out. Drop them down in there. We'll clean that out in a minute. You'll see. Okay, so one is stuck in there. Oh, it went through, but sometimes if they're stuck in there, you just clear it out a little bit. Okay, let's see here. 15 minutes in and haven't done anything. All right. Let's get you in here. Another dust cap. Gentle. And more really old dirt and grease that is not doing bicycle things anymore. That ain't doing nothing except putting dirt in your bearings. Okay, same deal. Loose pack, 9 of them. There's one bearing space. Pretty common. Some European bikes I've taken apart. For some reason, they were short on bearings that day, and instead of 9, there'll be like 7 on one side and 8 on the other. You know, they were short that day. So yeah, the next thing to look at, we're going to spray some WD in there and wipe this all out. We're going to look at these races that are pressed in. These aren't really races that you can change. I have, but it's really hard. they're a pressed in metal race that's pressed into this aluminum hub, and that's important to look at too. So we'll spray some goo in there, and we'll kind of clean it out a little. Rag of choice, a sock. Socks are good. Okay, not too bad. A little rusty. Definitely been sitting. Okay, that doesn't look too bad actually. There's some brittling. A little bit. Not too bad. See if we can pick that up. Yeah, that's a good race. I mean, that's a good cone. Cup, they would call it. A bearing cup, I guess. Anyway, that's a good inside of the hub where the bearing runs. That's good. We'll take that any day. Let's check this other side. The reason, I mean, it's always good to clean your parts, but we're just seeing if we even want to actually go through with this. I mean, if this was all chewed up inside here, we would just do something else, you know. Boy, that grease is hard in there. It wasn't doing grease things anymore. Yeah, when grease sits for, 30 years, that's a problem. Well, actually, this is probably off of a late 70s 10-speed. So, when grease sits for 50 years. Okay, so we got a winner here too. That's nice and shiny. I don't see any big pits. I don't see any problem with that. So, we're going to call that good. We're going to pop some grease in here. And we're going to put some grease in here. And then we're going to loose pack those bearings. But before we do that, we're going to do a quick spray down on these bearings. I don't have a parts cleaning apparatus. I have a rag. I have some WD. I have some paper towels. Get you over here, I guess. Can you see? Yeah, I hope so. Should I take each one of these bearings and put it on a micrometer and make sure it's not worn? Let me get my bearing micrometer out. Okay, so we're just going to roughly clean these. We sprayed them, we're rubbing around on a rag. I don't see any big cracks, none are cracked in half. No big chunks of dirt on there. I think we're good. Okay, we'll clean these in a minute. First, let's get this packed in. Actually, we should do that right now. Yeah, you get to see the nitty gritty here. You get to see the whole nine from start to finish. The crunchy dirt. There are some racers and fanatics that take the bearing dust cover and they loose pack their rim, and then they take this dust cover and they leave it off. I never really got that. I've seen a few people do it. They think it looks cool that you can see the bearings in there. But there's a reason the dust cover's there. It's called a dust cover. Anyway, moving right along. Here we go. Yeah, I know this is taking a bit, but this is what you got to do. You got to work. You want to repack your old wheel. This is what you got to do. This one's a little rusted. I think we're just going to pop it back in. Not the end of the world. Be careful. Try to get all the crap out of there, you know. Try to get in there. Take a screwdriver if you have to. And break it all up. And get that crap out of there. You don't want that stuff going in your new grease, you know. Okay, so these are ready. Ready as they're going to be. For old bikes, you don't need special grease. Grease is grease for vintage bikes. You don't need any special Philwood grease. A lot of new mountain bikes have sealed bearings now. So, you know, the sealed bearing is supposed to be good for the life of the bike. Newsflash, they wear out too. They're sealed and the grease goes bad, even though it's sealed up in there in a little plastic boot. You know, it's good to be able to have stuff that you can re-grease. I'm not downing new bikes. I'm just saying